let's look at a couple of ways. I'm whatever resources I'm using, I have linked them down below because there's no shortage of resources, but I'm trying to package them together and try to explain them. And hopefully you'll comment below any doubts that you have or any discussions you want to continue having. So, for example, you expect other people to be more interested in you and what's on your agenda than you're interested in them and what's on their agenda. You see your own interest as more interesting than other people's and see your goals and dreams as more valid or important than other people's. So, if you're constantly talking about yourself and you're constantly expecting other people to shut up about themselves and take a lot of interest in you, but you may or may not be taking that much interest in them. That's an example. I'm taking you examples because I want you to introspect on yourself first, because you cannot really learn psychology if you're always trying to analyze other people. You cannot implement it on other people unless you've implemented on yourself. So I want you to question yourself first, notice your own tendencies, work on yourself before you go and tell anyone else how they could work on themselves or try to give advice to anybody or try to diagnose or analyze anybody. Diagnose though you shouldn't, because unless you're a qualified professional, don't go around diagnosing people or yourself. If you see symptoms that you think might be depression or anxiety in yourself or in other people, feel free to recommend them to go to a professional, or you go to the professional, or you take them to the professional, but don't diagnose them yourself. Don't diagnose yourself. Don't go around telling people that they're depressed or you're depressed unless a psychiatrist or a qualified mental health professional has told you so. Okay, you disregard rules that are intended for everyone's comfort. Why should I, wait in the line, or that VIP treatment, that I'm more special than you, or for example, ignore signs asking you to please not put your feet on the chairs at the movies. I wanna sit like this, even if I'm taking three people's space, or like you're all gonna have to follow the rules, but I'm not gonna follow them because I'm special. You freeload. So you take things for free without paying for them. These could be extremes, but I think you're getting the idea. That's the idea. It's not exact example that you have to relate to, but you have to overall understand the idea. You inconvenience others without thinking. You might cut in between what someone's saying. You cancel appointments or reservations repeatedly, not only when there's an emergency. You make plans and bail out on those plans without considering that they have organized other plans trying to fit you in. So if someone's putting in a lot of effort and you have zero guilt, or you don't even feel bad, or you don't even apologize, or you're not even trying from your side, sometimes it could mean other symptoms. So don't just look at one sign and conclude that you're entitled. Look at the overarching idea and take a couple of them and explore it further. Ask yourself, discuss it with yourself to see whether these are all fit for you or not. You think it's okay to upset or offend other people or make jokes on other people's expense. You see people who like to keep the peace as weak. You think that anyone who's not trying to create, who's not trying to get into the fight with you or answering you back is weak. So stuff like that. When in groups, you think you should be the leader or get the most credit. So that's some. Do you relate to any of them, or are you thinking of someone else who you see these signs in? That could be something for you to introspect upon or talk to them about. If you do see that someone in your life does relate to this, you might try to have a conversation with them and see whether they're actually acting entitled, or is this something they could work on. So it was cute when we used to throw tantrums when we were kids. But when we continue to throw tantrums about things that happen around us, things we cannot accept about our lives, like यार एग्जाम क्यों ऐसा है, ये लोग एग्जाम क्यों ले रहे हैं, मेरे को नहीं लिखना है, मैं ये सब नहीं करती, ठीक है, this is too down market for me. All of these things, yeah, that's all entitlement. I'm not saying it's the only explanation. There's a bunch of explanations possible. In psychology, there's always another explanation. There's no one right answer most of the times. So yeah, we would make a face whenever someone doesn't give us the candy or tells us to wait in line. But if we continue to do that as adults, that can be a sign of entitlement. Someone else has to take care of me. Yeah, I think you got the idea. linked with narcissism in the world of psychoanalysis. It can be mistaken as natural and even healthy. So, a little bit is even considered natural and healthy, but it can actually be more narcissistic. Um, because this is now when we're talking about the cause. Because if someone's always told that they're unique or they're special or every little thing they do is appreciated, like if I drew a line or I made a circle or I have a good handwriting as a preschooler, and everyone's like, oh my god, Pratishta's got the best handwriting, and I feel so important and I continue to feel that, I might believe that I'm more important than other people. So I might grow up thinking that I'm more important. For example, a girl who's always pretty, everyone's always looking at her, no guy says no to her, all the girls are jealous of her, that woman is likely to be entitled in terms of her appearance. So she would think that, hey, I'm so pretty, how did he not look at me? Like, kaun hai wo jisne mujhe mud ke nahi dekha? That stuff. That's an example. So when we are taught and told directly, indirectly by many people in multiple circumstances that we are special, unique, or better than other people, we start to believe that we are. So it's a malignant form of self-love because it often harms the people around us, which indirectly harms us in the long run. If you're going around hurting everyone's feelings, eventually you're gonna get hurt too because you're gonna lose them. Or you will have a lot of superficial relationships with other entitled people who care about the color of, if the color of their bags match the color of their shoes or not. And if that is not there, you are not cool enough to sit with us. So if all of your friends are like that, you don't really have real relationships, and that's problematic on many levels. So you might still have friends, but what would be the quality of those relationships if everyone around you, or most of the people around you, are constantly feeling oppressed in some way, or like their values and needs are not important enough in some ways? So they try to be the center of the universe, and when the universe doesn't meet their needs and desires, all hell will break loose. They cannot have it. They do not have a thick skin. They lose it very quickly.